Okay, we are now in the review for Unit 11 for the Math 4 course. This will be reviewing the last unit of the course. All right, so get my pen going here. All right, we're starting out with magnitude, which of course should be a question of distance formula. And so we're going to wind up with -6 minus 2, square that, -4 minus 5, square that. So we'll have -8 squared plus -9 squared, which will give us 64 and 81, which is the square root of 145. Basically, just a little bit over 12. Okay. The next one we'll put in 3 minus 6, square that, -7 minus -3, square that. That's going to give us -3 squared plus -4 squared. That begins to look familiar because 3, 4, 5 is a Pythagorean triple. 3 squared plus 4 squared equals 5 squared. And I've been preaching this the entire time I've been a teacher. Pythagorean triples. The more you know them, the more you recognize them, the shorter you spend on stuff like this. All right, write each vector in component form. Of course, the idea is to do this. And so we're still going to need to label some things just to keep things straight. So we're going to say that minus that, comma, 5 minus 6, which is going to give us -4 and -1. Here we're going to say 6 minus 5, and then 9 minus -4. That should give us 1 and 13. Now, we're going to do f plus v for the x side, f plus v for the y side. F minus v is going to be -1 minus 9, and then -5 minus -1, which will give us a -10 and a -4. Now we start getting into scalar multiplication. So we're going to say 2 times u minus 4 times g, and then 2 times u minus 4 times g. Here we'll say -5 times u plus 8, 10 times 8. And then we'll say -5 times u plus 10 be. Okay, now this one, y'all seem to have a problem on occasion with this guy right here, that distributes on both of them. So this is going to wind up looking like this. And then 8 and 3 make 11, 5i and 4i make 9i. Over here, it's not so much a problem because you're distributing a positive, so it's not really going to change anything. -3, -8 make -11. 4 minus 7i means a -3i. Here, we're going to do a little box or foil, depending on your preference. So we're going to have a 56 and 30, -32, -35 make -67i. And then positive 20i squared is going to create a -20, and 56 minus 20 is 36. All right, try that much again. 5 minus 2i, 4 plus 2i gives us 20, -8i, positive 10i, -4i squared. 10i minus 8i is positive 2i. -4i squared is going to give us a plus 4. 20 plus 4 is 24. Conjugate is never about the first term, it is always about the I term. All right, a couple of these and we're done. Conjugate here is going to be -8i. And by the time I distribute across the top, we have that. And we have -64i squared on the bottom. Now, that -56 times -1 is going to give me a positive 56 to go with my -40i. Meanwhile, -64 times -1 is positive 64. All of these have a common factor of 8, which reduces down to something that looks like that. Now this one, we're going to multiply by the conjugate, which is 4 plus 6i, which we're going to distribute across the top, 20 and 30i. And across the bottom, these are conjugates, which means that we're going to wind up with a squared plus b squared, which is going to be 4 squared plus -6 squared, which is going to be 16 plus 36, which is 52. Now, when I bring that up here, everybody in there is even, so I know 2 will go into it. By the time I reduce by 2, 26 is 2 times 13, and 15 is 3 times 5. So there's nothing in common with those two guys, so we'll stop there. One more to go. All right, this time we're going to do the conjugate of 1 plus 3i, which means that across the top, we're going to have to box 8 minus 2i and 1 plus 3i. So by the time we finish boxing all of this, negative 6i squared, which is going to give us 24 minus 2 is going to give us 22i. And the negative 6i squared is going to become a plus 6. 8 plus 6 is 14, which means we're going to have that on top. And meanwhile, on the bottom, we're going to have a squared plus b squared, which is going to be 1 squared plus negative 3 squared, which is 1 plus 9. Now, once again, I see everybody up there is an even number. So I know that at the very least 2 will go into it, but I got all prime numbers when I'm done with that. So we can stop there. That is the review sheet for Unit 11.